Hey all, after nearly a decade of being the face that welcomes you to the LCS, it is with a swirl of emotions that I announce I will not be returning to the LCS in the same capacity this year. I know there will immediately be many questions around why this is, but in short, the new direction of the LCS doesn't have a need for a consistent host. Having said that, I will still be involved from time to time for key moments and some content. My team is in active discussions with Riot to figure out more ways we can work together in 2023, as I want to be involved with the LCS as much as I possibly can. In much of the same way I found myself serendipitously a part of LCS, I am now moving on to the next chapter of my career. For the first time in 10 years, I'm available to branch out and work on new things. I'll be discussing what that could be, as well as answering any questions you may have on my stream today. Okay, links to Twitch. And then he says, I'm exceedingly grateful to Riot for taking a chance on a relative nobody 10 years ago, giving me the time, support, and opportunity to grow into the host that I am today. Thanks for the love and support thus far. Can't wait for what's next. Stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. That's interesting. What does it mean when they say that LCS doesn't have a need for a consistent host anymore? It feels like if they didn't really like him to be the host, they should have just replaced him. But the way it's worded sounds like they're downsizing. Uh-oh. Maybe downsizing is kind of expected. A little bit. But that's weird. Does that mean that this, like, the in-between and the intro time is, like, just going to be different than it is now? I think it's really jarring to have multiple hosts, personally. It's like every fucking day there's, like, just... That was him and not Freak. I think Freak's also gone, right? That he announced he's going to go into game dev, and then they're... I'm assuming they kind of, like, work together on the messaging for that one. But I don't know, actually. I have no idea. I'm assuming LCS... yeah, is just cutting a lot of people. I feel like the general sentiment towards Dash is it's really good, and yeah, people really like him. The part where he says like he didn't feel like they respected him back, I do agree. Like what you know, personal preferences aside, I think he's good. You know, I'm not like married to the idea of really anyone being on broadcast. I feel like yeah, that's just like show business, you know. Like no one is completely irreplaceable, but I think he's good. The part where he says like there's no respect given, he didn't feel like the respect was mutual, that part really sucks. I don't really know what's going on there, because if I'd like brainstorm a few reasons, it would be like budget cuts, like somebody's got like they got to remove some people, they got to replace some people, and also they probably have to cut the hours of some people, and maybe Dash falls into the category of like, well, we don't want to replace him because he's good, but like he just got the short end of the stick in terms of budget. But then it's like if they just communicated that with him and really apologetically just told him like, you know, it is what it is, the budget went down, and you know, the viewership's down, everyone knows, you know, esports budgets all getting cut, it's, you know, it's a bad time right now to be in the business of esports. So, you know, that feels like way different than the way he's describing it. I feel like he's such a professional, he wouldn't even really go into like the nitty-gritty details. But it's like if he says he didn't feel like that he got any respect, or he got the same respect back, then yeah, it must have been pretty tough, pretty honestly unprofessional. Yeah, I agree. It's a bit embarrassing. Isidru, thanks to the 21 months. Riot didn't try to negotiate with Dash at all before cutting his role. See, that is a clickbait title. They probably just summarized some of the shit he said on his stream, right? To be honest, outside of League though, like what is like a good NA esports friend to be hosting? I feel like Valorant already has one. I don't know who it is, but they probably already have one. Call of Duty. I don't know. What else is there, guys? Dota only has one major tournament that really can make him a decent amount of money throughout the year. CS:GO. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these big esports already have their hosts. Maybe they're not happy with them, and he can find work like that, or he can do like one-off shit like the Mr. Beast tournament, or like sponsored events like I did the AT&T Annihilator Cup, that kind of stuff. But I feel like that stuff is just so much below doing LCS. I mean, it's better in terms of like money made versus time spent. So, you know, you get paid a lot more per hour or like per unit of time. But it just, in terms of just like viewership, prestige, you know, just like professional resume and pedigree and stuff, like doing like sponsored little mini games and events and stuff like that is just like not as cool as being a part of the main broadcast for a big game. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could do something outside of esports as well. That's true. I mean, I'm talking about gaming. But if you zoomed out of gaming, it could just be like any live event type of hosting. I feel bad for him. I feel like he did give 10 of his like prime years of his life to LCS. I never ever got the impression. I always had the impression of Dash that he was giving it 100%. Like he was never checked out. I did feel like he was a pretty hard worker whenever I was working with the LCS broadcast. He did really well. He worked hard. Seems pretty obvious that you should give him some respect if you're going to remove or cut down on his role. If Riot is just going to kill LCS, then let it be co-streamed. My man.